This podcast is brought to you by Racing Thread, Formula One clothing for literally any occasion. Their clothing features subtle, evocative, embroidered designs of your favorite F1 moments. From Ricciardo's McHorsey entrance to Kevin's first pole. From Pierre and Yuki's bromance to Inspector Seb, the moments are endless. Whether you're out to dinner with friends, watching the race at home, or cheering in the grandstands, gone are the embarrassing sponsor logos. Instead, Racing Thread is F1 clothing you're comfortable wearing anywhere. Right now, Dirty Driving listeners can get 15% off Racing Thread's entire range of t-shirts, sweatshirts, polos, and bucket hats using the code Dirty Driving. Head over to racingthread.com to shop F1 racewear for anywhere. It's chaos. It's a different type of Sunday scary. It's your newest obsession. It's Dirty Driving, a Formula One podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dirty Driving. This time, we are talking about everything you need to know before the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend kicks off tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. for FP1. Let's jump into everything that's happened this week in the world of F1, starting with the new partnership between Formula One and the Tottenham Hotspur FC. The partnership will create the world's first in-stadium electric karting facility with a track for adults and a track for juniors. Both tracks will be accredited by the National Karting Association, so future karting championships could be held there. The partnership has a couple goals. This includes a new driver academy program with aims to widen the talent pool and the next generation of F1 drivers. It also aims to deliver educational programs to local schools and create career opportunities for women and underrepresented groups. The next headline caused a bit of a stir. AlphaTauri supposedly was going to be put up for sale, but those rumors have been put to bed. So news dropped earlier this week that Red Bull was considering the sale of the team due to high costs. Team principal Franz Tost dismissed those rumors, confirming he had spoken with Oliver Mitzlaff, who heads up Red Bull's sporting activities, who confirmed that the shareholders are not interested in selling at this point. So we will see AlphaTauri as part of the Red Bull family for the foreseeable future. Something that was so cool that I'm so happy for her is that Susie Wolff was announced the F1 Academy's managing director. So the F1 Academy, I haven't really talked about this yet. My plan is to drop an episode on one of the bye weeks completely about this, but the F1 Academy is an all-female driver series with 15 drivers in 5 teams who will race in 21 races this year. Susie Wolff has been a development driver for Williams and has participated in plenty of FP1 sessions. She's raced in DTM, and she's led the Venturi Formula E team as team principal. Her mission will be to spearhead the development of female motorsport talent and to work towards creating a successful pathway to higher categories in the F1 period for these female drivers and female drivers in the future. Pretty fucking cool. So happy for her. I think this is well deserved, and I'm really excited to see what happens with this program this year and what she does to get it where it needs to be. McLaren is in charge of our coolest headline of the week. So McLaren last year ran a 2-display system during Austin's practice sessions, which essentially allows for advertisements for their sponsorships on the car to change throughout the session. I believe, if I read this correctly, that they are using technology similar to how a Kindle operates. So the coolest thing about this is that this tech will be featured in all 23 events this year, and this weekend will be the first time this tech has been run during a Grand Prix. This could absolutely change the future of advertising for these sponsors who dump large sums of money into these teams for these advertisement spots on the cars. So I'm excited to see what other teams plan on adopting this technology. Something I wanted to note was that Haas was awarded their 3-star environmental accreditation. So back in 2011, the FIA created this environmental accreditation program with 3 levels of varying accreditation standing to not only measure sustainability, but also to aim towards improving it, as Formula One has a goal, an overarching goal to become more sustainable, but a more specific goal of becoming net zero by 2030. Haas is the latest team to join the 3-star accreditation and will join the likes of Sauber, Mercedes, McLaren, and Aston Martin. This was due to something as small as changing their light bulbs to being LED light bulbs, all the way up to having their entire UK facility run on renewable energy. And for our most exciting piece of news this week, Lance Stroll will be racing for Aston Martin this weekend. So 12 days ago, Lance broke one of his wrists and, according to him, banged up the other one in a bike session while training. During the very next day, he had surgery for screws to be placed in his wrist. And then 4 days later, or the first day of testing in the F1 world, the cast came off and he began this intense rehab program. On Tuesday and Wednesday, he told us that he hopped in the sim and was feeling comfortable enough to fly to Bahrain, show up today on Thursday, smiling and ready to compete this weekend. This is so impressive. I don't know if Papa Stroll showed up to a hospital, maybe the best hospital in the world, and said, my son needs to be racing this weekend, fix his wrist, or if for some crazy reason Lance Stroll is a secret superhero that miraculously can heal a broken wrist in 12 days and be ready to drive in an F1 race. Absolutely insane. So excited to see him back, except for the fact that he completely blew up my rankings. I put him pretty low just because I thought he really had 2 broken wrists and was going to be out for numerous races. This weekend, we are racing at the Bahrain International Circuit for a 57-lap race. The circuit was designed by Herman Tilke and opened in 2004. The track also hosted the first Grand Prix that year on April 4th, my 6th birthday. So that's a cute little fact for you guys. The track is composed of 15 corners and runs clockwise. And the challenges that drivers and teams will face are the wind, racing under the floodlights, and difficulty with the car setup due to fluctuating temperatures. In addition, with it being held in the middle of the desert, there's always a concern for sand getting on the track. So F1 has majorly solved this issue by spraying an adhesive over the surrounding sand before the weekend begins. One DRS zone is on the main straight, which leads into the incredibly tight Turn 1, creating the perfect overtaking opportunity. Turn 1 is also known as the Michael Schumacher turn. Turns 2 and 3 are flat out leading into Turn 4, creating another overtaking opportunity, while turns 5, 6, and 7 make up a high-speed left-right-left S section leading into Turn 8. Turns 9 and 10 are challenging as they are 2 blind left-handers. The back straight leads into 11, 12, and 13, which is a medium-speed complex of corners, and it ends with 14 and 15, which lead back to the main straight. The Bahrain Grand Prix has been held every single year since 2004, except for 2011. Ferrari is the most winning constructor with 7 total wins, while Lewis Hamilton is the most successful driver with 5 wins. Last year's race, 2022, saw Charles Leclerc on podium with Carlos Sainz in second, Hamilton in third, with both the Red Bulls retiring. I predict a Red Bull win this weekend with Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso on podium. That's all you need to know headed into the Bahrain Grand Prix, which kicks off tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. for practice session 1. Catch me on the other side of the weekend where we will talk about what happened during practice qualies and the race and all the drama that will unfold during the Bahrain Grand Prix. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Dirty Driving. Until next time, stay dirty. Looking to get the kiddos in your life interested in Formula One? This series includes the ABCs of Racing, which teaches concepts about racing with Red Racer as your guide. The 34-page book is full of gorgeous illustrations inspired by actual tracks and racing situations around the world. The series also includes the book All About Race Cars, a guide to Formula One race cars. Red Racer and Roxy the Engineer walk you through all the ins and outs of F1 in this 40-page book with beautiful illustrations teaching STEM facts about F1 cars. Red Racer Books is on a mission to give kids in the US and beyond a global perspective on sportsmanship, diversity, science, and technology. Right now, Dirty Driving listeners can get 20% off Red Racer Books' entire series using the code Dirty Driving. Head over to redracerbooks.com to buy the kiddos in your life, or the adults, their new favorite book.